From the Mayabini day of his birth in Tura to the Mayabini day of the demise of the Mayabini soul. Yes, today's episode of my podcast is truly dedicated to the one and only Zubeen Garg. Welcome, listener, to a journey of life that was not just lived, but was a symphony composed on the very heartstrings of an entire civilization. Today, we don't just remember an artist, we seek to understand a phenomenon, a force of nature named Zubeen Garg. The story begins not with a man, but with a melody that emerged out of the emerald hills of northeast India. Assam is not just a geographical entity. She is the definition of sublime beauty. A poetry written through the waves of the Brahmaputra. A song whispered by the rolling tea garden. A dance of 1,000 hues during Bihu. And the silent, profound wisdom of the Namkhor. It is a land where the mist clings to the hills like a lover's memory. And the air is thick with the fragrance of the past and the passion of the present. And in this land, an artist is not just a performer. He is a border Islam, a storm of emotions, a keeper of traditions, and a voice for the voiceless. Into this world came Zubeen Garg. His life was his magnum opus, a sprawling epic set to music. Zubeen Garg's music was the confluence of 1,000 rivers. It was deeply classic but contemporary, deeply Assamese but universally human. He did not just sing, he conquered emotions. From the raw, earthy fervor of Oy Nahar Phular Batar to the Hindi hit of Yaali. From the soul-stirring devotion of Rama Rama to the poignant, heart-wrenching ballads of Junjoli and Mormon.
Mormon dusoku akhohay akol khore mor sporkho mor akakh ase ekethore.
His voice was an instrument of incredible range. His voice, a river in spate, carrying canyons in the soul's estate, from Bihu's fire to a lover's sigh, under the vast, emphatic sky. He was a composer, a lyricist, a musician, an actor, and a director. A one-man army who dismantled the walls between genres. He taught us that music is not just bound by language, but by the feeling that it carries. He was in every sense the Gandharv of the modern age, whose notes could soothe the troubled heart. At a time when Assamese cinema grappled with low production values and dwindling audiences, Zubeen Garg did the unthinkable. He made going to an Assamese film an event. He didn't just attract viewers. Oh no. He made a cultural movement.
কণা ও ঘড়ি কবিতা
His later films like the blockbuster Mission China and the poignant Kanchenjunga were not just hits, they were historic phenomenon. He demonstrated unequivocally that Assamese cinema was not just an art form, but a commercially viable industry that could command the respect and the rupees of its people. Perhaps one of his most poignant contributions came with his final film, Roy Roy Binale. In a posthumous triumph that almost felt scripted by the divine, the film sparked a revolution. In his passing, he achieved what seemed impossible, a significant, powerful push for the revival of the struggling single-screen theatres, the very temples of Assamese cinema. When hope was a flicker, a dying ember's glow, he stormed the silver screen and made the culture flow. With records he shattered and ceilings he broke. He awakened millions of hearts with every stroke. But to confine Zubinda to the recording studio or cinema hall would be a tragedy. His true stage was the world, and his audience, humanity. His heart was a vast, inclusive space where everyone had a seat. He was a man of the people in the truest sense. He felt the tremors of distress in his society and rushed to be the pillar of support. When the mighty Brahmaputra would overflow its banks, swallowing villages and dreams, Zubeen Garg was not a distant star. He was there in the muddy waters and the relief camps, not for a photo opportunity, but as a son of the soil. He organized charity concerts, mobilized resources, and with his own hands, delivered aid to the flood-affected people through his Kalaguru Foundation. His presence was a balm, a reassurance that they were not forgotten. And when the dark shadow of the pandemic fell upon the world, his approach became a lifeline. He used his influence to spread awareness, contributing relief funds, and become a beacon of hope, reminding us of our shared humanity in a time of enforced distance. His art was often a reflection of this deep ecological consciousness, painting audio portraits of his beautiful, fragile Assam. Beyond the celebrated rock star and cinematic icon, Zubeen Da's true essence was his profound, everyday humanitarianism. His home in Guwahati was less a residence and more of a perpetual sanctuary, operating as a 24/7 charity driven by his spiritual commitment to service. Most remarkably, he offered a sense of belonging, informally adopting individuals from all walks of life, struggling artists, the elderly, and the young, and building a community bound not by blood, but by his boundless love and protection. His quiet, consistent karma was the very cornerstone of his existence. And now, I would be sharing a personal anecdote which would be bridging across the artist and my own mortal world. The saga of my family's bond with Zubeen Garg is a mesmerizing tapestry, woven with a thread of faith and familiarity. My parents met him and his wife, Gorima Khuri, for the first time in the distant sands of Dubai in 2004, an era I know only through their fond recollections. Both were invited by the Assam Association to perform on the occasion of Rongali Bihu. From that moment, under a foreign sky, memories were formed and a bond was bridged. Before I was born, I was cradled in the stories of Zubeen. My parents painted a universe where he was a constant guiding star. Tales of traveling with his band across the verdant expanse of Assam, poignant visits to his in-laws in Golaghat, his surprise apparition at my parents' door in Haryana, a gust of Assamese air in an alien land, the month my parents spent at his Mumbai residence, seeking their path under his benevolent roof. My parents performing the fierce Shiv Tandav dance drama on the grounds of San Marie Field at his album release. He invited my father as a guest artist for his series Zubeen Den and entrusted my parents to choreograph his song shoot at the cultural sanctum of Kalakshetra. These were the legends of my lullaby. But for me, there are three moments, personal and profound, that I will cherish forever, like three sacred verses from an epic poem. I was around 3 years old, living in the Mumbai bustle of Andheri, a stone's throw from Zubeen's own abode. One day, he graced our humble residence with a surprise visit. In the innocence of that age, I was simply enveloped in a deep, warm love, unaware that the arms that held me belonged to a legend. But today, when I gaze upon that photograph, a moment frozen in time by my father's camera, I feel a blessing beyond definition. I see not a star, but the pure, unadulterated affection for a child, a warmth that transcends fame and touches the divine. In the initial days of our organization AMRAPALI, we organized an inauguration for the AMRAPALI Institute of Arts. Zubeen graced the occasion as the chief guest with his towering presence. It was a testament to his colossal heart, a lesson in how a true legend finds greatness, not in the size of the stage, but in the depth of his connection to common people. One morning, Zubeen arrived at our Kharguli residence, arriving straight from the exhaustion of a night-long show. He was tired, so he had a deep, peaceful sleep till the evening. My mother cooked for him with all her heart, and upon waking, he ate the food with utmost love and simplicity before going home. That day remains for me the hardest to explain, and yet the most divine. It was a mystery of pure trust and unspoken kinship, a legend finding solace and sanctuary in the humblest of our homes. The final ride, a silent song, a million hearts where he belonged. The pyre burned, but not the fire. He fulfilled the people's choir. Zubeen's fame was a masterclass. He did not chase fame, he chased authenticity. And then came the sunset with the final ride. The news of his sudden departure sent a seismic shock through the heart of Assam. The final ride to the cremation ground was not a procession. It was a river of humanity in mourning. The streets of Guwahati witnessed a sight unprecedented. A sea of people, young and old, weeping, singing his songs, bidding farewell to a part of their own identity. It was a record-breaking congregation of love, a testament to a life lived not for the self. It was a record-breaking congregation of love, a testament to a life lived not for the self, but for the soul of the millions. The universe, in its own mysterious way, will ensure that your karma becomes your immorality. His body turned into ashes, but his voice remains, and will remain an echo in the hills of Assam. Thank you, Zubeen, for the music, the love, and the compassion towards humanity.
Mayabini রাতির বুকু দেখা পালো তোমার ছবি ধরা দিলা গোপনে